The old versus new Superman debate that pits David Corenswet and Henry Cavill against each other will certainly overstay its welcome, and with every new bit of information, it's only going to get intense. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. The recent topic of debate is the DC character's bond with the sun, which has always been central to his narrative. The contrast between how Zack Snyder's and James Gunn's versions of the superheroes heal themselves speaks volumes. The latter has gone for a complete shift in his interpretation, so let's look at how these two differ. David Corenswet's Superman heals with high-tech sunlight, while Henry Cavill's uses raw power. Here's how their approaches define each version. We see the Fortress of Solitude emerge, the superhero's headquarters, away from civilization. Krypto tugs on his cape and brings him inside, where a squad of cape-clad advanced robots is ready to receive and treat him. The latest sneak peek of David Corenswet's Superman features a starkly different vision from what we've previously seen. James Gunn opens the scene with our injured hero, who's crashed and landed on the ice, possibly after a battle. He whistles for Krypto the Superdog, who rushes for his aid and begins to drag him. In Man of Steel, we saw Henry Cavill's Kal-El facing overwhelming odds without a safety net. At the moment, he had no access to the Fortress of Solitude and no superpowered allies. His most defining scene came during the World Engine battle, when he was overpowered and brutalized by the terraforming machine's gravity beam. They use concentrated sunlight to heal Superman, and these rays seem to be simulated by Kryptonian technology that bathes him in restorative solar energy. It's evident that Gunn is embracing the whimsical and inventive side of the superhero lore, focusing on world building and not just the character. The way they healed in their respective universes tells us everything about the intention and the story being told. Where Cavill is more like a mythic figure and lone warrior, Corenswet's iteration suggests that he is part of a world where his heroism is supported by friendship, advanced science, and a superpowered dog. So, Gunn's Superman isn't just a reboot, but a tonal reinvention. He seemed broken and alone until a ray of sunlight pierced through the storm clouds. This scene plays out like his rebirth, where he absorbs the solar energy and recharges his cells in real time. Within seconds, he's back to his feet, stronger than ever, ready to obliterate his enemies. So, Zack Snyder's version of Superman was fundamentally alien, and he was struggling to harness his power in a world that already feared him. On the other hand, Gunn's approach suggests that the DC superhero is part of something bigger as he offers a more optimistic and interconnected take on the character. Can James Gunn's DCU deliver a worthy Wonder Woman? Lessons from past adaptations reveal the challenges of bringing Diana Prince to life. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman was one of the most iconic and powerful heroes in the DCU. She played a demigoddess and Amazonian warrior princess who hailed from the island of Themyscira. Leaving behind her secluded paradise, she confronted evil and became a founding member of the Justice League. Wonder Woman has always been a tricky character to adapt, and over the years, we've seen Gal Gadot don the iconic armor in Batman vs. Superman and her solo films. Now that a new era of DC has begun, with James Gunn at the helm, will he learn from his predecessors? Gadot's run as Diana Prince seems to be over, and Gunn is ready to recast, but will that be enough? Joss Whedon's words seem like a warning to upcoming adaptations of the character. So, as Gunn leads DC's future, he can't afford to ignore the lessons of the past. So far, only Jenkins has succeeded in framing the character as a period piece with superhero action, World War I history, and her origin story. So now James Gunn must decide if he wants to keep Wonder Woman in the realm of grand and cinematic spectacle or take the humble approach instead. So, in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Joss Whedon wasn't exaggerating when he called Wonder Woman a difficult character to adapt. Long before Patty Jenkins' 2017 hit, there were other attempts to bring her to the screen, which failed spectacularly, and Whedon summarized it well when he said, "It is hard. She's a tough nut to crack. I know she's famous as a television show, but I don't think she lends herself to television. I think she only works on an epic scale. I saw a bit of the David E. Kelly NBC pilot. That was not a good marriage." The challenge of portraying Wonder Woman on screen lies in balancing her mythic roots with modern storytelling. Her lore isn't just about fighting villains, as it's steeped in gods, ancient warriors, and political allegory. Gunn's track record, especially with movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, suggests that he can handle multiple characters at once, but Wonder Woman isn't a space rogue. She's a warrior and a demigoddess, a legend that demands an epic scale. So, Gunn should take Whedon's advice, and the next Diana of Themyscira could be unforgettable. His version of Superman is quite different than what we've seen in Zack Snyder's films so far, so it would be interesting to see how he features the superheroine. If he reduces her to just another piece in a larger universe, it would risk repeating past mistakes. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman was one of the most iconic and powerful heroes in the DCU. She played a demigoddess and Amazonian warrior princess who hailed from the island of Themyscira. Leaving behind her secluded paradise, she confronted evil and became a founding member of the Justice League. Matt Reeves recently revealed his game plan for how he would expand his The Batman Elseworld, amping the pressure on James Gunn. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Matt Reeves entered the DC universe with 2022's The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson in the titular role. The film introduced fans to a more corrupted yet realistic Gotham, different from what they had seen in Christopher Nolan's and Tim Burton's films. Inspired by David Fincher's Say 7N, the film followed a serial killer who turned out to be the Riddler. Zack Snyder's movies have long been labeled as too dark, expanding with the kind of stuff people claim receiving rave reviews. And the show focuses on Snyder definitely leans into mature the Penguin's rise to power, but calling his Gotham's criminal ranks in the aftermath might be a bit of an overstatement. With the show's success, Man of Steel, Reeves seems to have figured out how when Henry Cavill first donned the cape in 2013. It has been maintained some fans since the beginning that Reeves' The Batman trilogy scared the fun out of subsequent spin-off would be an Elseworld separate from the DCU's main continuity. But the internet has receipts. However, and one adorable video already flipping that narrative on its head. James Gunn may be under pressure that even little ones can't resist the charm of the modern-day Kryptonian and the bold. Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder's reportedly has decided on how he would expand this Elseworld by focusing on characters that would not get the importance they deserve. A normal conversation on X turned sour when a person claimed that Snyder cultists wouldn't be able to understand how kids shouldn't be afraid of Superman. We have been talking about doing other shows. This time, I think the idea of Snyder and fans of James Gunn are fighting once again over who had the better knowledge of cities and their dysfunction, with Snyder having Henry Cavill as his Man of Steel and Gunn having David Corenswet as his Superman. They're all about Gotham being a place the release date of James Gunn's Superman. So Oz's story is Oz's story. Comes closer and closer to do these other stories in the same way. And theories are becoming more random and toxic. Gotham City has a unique history. Kids aren't really scared to see Zack Snyder's take on Henry Cavill's the story of the city or Batman. Neither are they scared to see James Gunn and his version of Superman with the infamous red trunks. According to the first chapter, people could have answered this planned series of films and shows. A Snyder fan decided to take things one step further and upload a video part of the main continuity. In an earlier interview, James Gunn sat down for a chat with Screen Rant to talk about his version of no script yet and what changes he made compared to Zack Snyder's version. During their talks, while Gunn himself is busy with Superman by stating that they wanted a Superman who kids announces it's Batman, not be afraid of. Matt Reeves' Gotham because City we're trying on all these different versions. And it might be confusing for audiences to look forward to different projects. And one of the things David seem to have the same characters, Superman but wants kids to not be afraid of him. To avoid a DCU situation again, Zack Snyder has to establish his Batman quickly. It was a poke well done, despite initially being planned to be a part of the DCU. The tweet does prove that the Batman eventually became a standalone piece, as some of the adults are. With a trilogy of films focusing on a younger Batman and James Gunn, who came up with the thought of making over as co-chief of DC Studios. Reeves' universe was allowed to continue for a while. As an Elseworld. Gunn was against the idea since not even Zack Snyder could make them look cool. With the show, Reeves reportedly has decided on how he would expand regarding Henry Cavill by focusing on characters that would not get the importance right at a time when James Gunn is all set for the release of his David Corenswet film. With David Corenswet replacing Cavill in the lead with the studio. James Gunn's Superman is one of the most anticipated movies of all time. I think the idea of being able to put a lens on these characters is a really exciting idea. It's about cities and their